Hello. Nobody's joined yet, so we're just going to give it a second here. First time going live on this channel, so let me just check and make sure it's working. See it here. Yep, we're working. All righty. Not sure exactly how to tell how many people are watching. That's okay. One's watching, me.
Okay.
Okay. 2 people are watching. One, nope, they're both me. 2 different devices. Can I go to the studio? Content. All right. So, I think really I'm just going to start because this thing's going to create it's going to create a video after this and post it, and people will be like, why is there just nothing happening? So that's fine. We'll just get started and people will join if they join, I guess. I don't know. So today I want to actually start something new. A lot of people ask me, how do you have time to create content? I really don't, actually. I just have to squeeze it in. It's important to get into the shop and work on your projects, as much as you can, even if that means an hour a day, 2 hours a day, 4 hours on a weekend, whatever it is. That's typically how I'll do it. And we're going to start a little series here called An Hour a Day. Yeah, creative, I know. But essentially, anytime I drive any of my stuff, someone says like, man, it's really cool. I always wanted to restore a car, but I just don't have the time. It's never the money that's the issue for these people. It's usually the time. So I always suggest find something you want to work on. I was talking to a guy not long ago who said, I'm really into Beetles. It's not that I can't afford it. I just don't have the time to work on it. And I said, can you spare an hour a day? And the guy said, yeah, I could do that. And so I heard actually I saw him again, and he told me I bought the Beetle, and I just haven't started working on it yet. So if you take an hour a day, if you do every day of the week, you have 7 hours in on that particular week. And then in a month, even if you went 5 days, you're, tons and tons of time into a project. There are some things that you can't just walk away from because you're in the middle of it, and if you stop, you'll lose momentum, or you're holding something, whatever it is. So you are sometimes going to go a little past that hour, and we will. I spend a lot of time in the shop on the weekends when I'm not running around busy. Bugs. And that's fine because it helps make up for maybe the hours that you missed earlier. So I'm going to do everything I can to get out here for an hour a day, 3 days a week minimum. I'm not setting particular days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, none of that. We'll just come out and we'll pick something on one of the cars that needs to be done and spend an hour doing it. Today, I need to finish polishing this hood. I wet sanded. From here over is done, but from here to here is not done. It's just all scratchy, and I wet sanded it and never came back and polished it. So we'll start that today. I've got a bunch of stuff. I don't have any of the compound that I typically have. I just ran out of it, I guess. But essentially, we can do this here, this section, in an hour. 6 steps is what I think we're going to focus on. Get some of the orange peel out, get this piece looking like that piece. By the way, outside of all that, you might notice hats. So we got these Horsepower Ranch Florida hats. These are Richardson 112s. And outside of hats, I also got some stickers. You know, we're a very, 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 very small channel. There's one sticker. There's the other. So I don't do this because I want to make money. I do it because I enjoy it. It combines my hobbies of video production, in this case live, which actually is what pays my bills. It's more than a hobby, but I really love it and passionate about it. And it also combines my hobby, which is really a hobby, and that's cars. So putting those two things together, quite frankly, I don't care if no one watches. It's good for me to be able to go back and look at it. Hopefully somebody learns something, and you know, if one person watches and learns something from something I did, then that's awesome. So the other piece of, there are sub hobbies inside of the hobbies. One of those is detailing. But anyway, back to the hats. If you want a hat, I don't have a store, I don't have a website, we don't have any of that. I also have a very limited number of hats, so just, I don't know, maybe nobody wants them. Again, I don't care, I'll wear them. Bill will wear them, it doesn't matter. So if you want a hat, shoot me an email. I just created an email address yesterday. It's Horsepower Ranch Florida, or sorry, Horsepower Ranch FL@gmail.com. I think that's what I did. Let's look. No, it is Horsepower Ranch Florida @gmail.com. All one word. Don't forget the 2 R's after horsepower and ranch. Anyway, is what it is. So if you want one, shoot me an email. If you want some stickers and you get a hat, I'll throw some stickers in. If you just want some stickers, let me know too. They're like 10-year super hyper durable vinyl. Kind of neat. I got a couple on the truck already. All right, let's dig in here. So the first thing we need to do is wipe this thing down. I have washed it recently. Where did my detail spray go? Come on. Oh, here's some here. This will work. I use, not solely, but predominantly, I use Adams detail spray. Adams is a company that GM has worked with for quite a long time, actually. And I buy this stuff in the gallon bucket. I don't know where my regular sprayer is. Oh, here it is, right here. So I've got this bottle here, and then this, not sponsored or anything. I just think it's a really good product. It smells delicious. So let's just spray this on. Let me talk for a second about all the steps we'll do. The first, obviously, we need to wipe this thing down, wash it. I've already washed it, but it's sat for a couple days now, so I'm just going to wipe it down. Then we'll clay it using this as well. The clay pulls the impurities out of the clear coat. In this case, it's single stage, so directly out of the paint. You don't want to be grinding that in as you're cutting and buffing. The step after clay is a cut. Now this thing's pretty bad. The paint on this is actually really terrible. Bubba seemed to have painted it in his backyard. Actually, apparently it was his uncle's backyard, the guy I bought this from. And so I knocked a bunch of the nibs and high pieces off, some of the orange peel out with, I think I started with 1,000 and went to 3,000 wet sand, and never went back. And that's been, I don't know, like 2.5 years at this point. So anyway, we got to get all the impurities and crap out of the paint, and then we can polish on it. I'll probably tape all this stuff off, probably tape this fender off. We don't want to cut over into spots that I haven't clayed and detailed for the same reason. Over there, when they sprayed this hood, it's actually a different white from the rest of the truck. I think when they sprayed this hood, they tried to blend it into the fender, and over there, it was bad. It started chipping off. So I actually burned through over there because I needed to get all that crappy paint off. But it's really minor, and it's a street truck. But that doesn't mean we don't want it to look good and clean. I'll go all the way to this panel. They painted the cowl the same time, so at least that matches. It's just a slightly different white. I think actually when they painted the hood, they used like a Rust-Oleum, and I think they sprayed that. Clearly sprayed it outside. There's a bunch of crap in this paint. It's fine though. It's not good. It's definitely not great, but it will work. And you can see just pulling some crap out. I did hit this cowl already, so it's really just a matter of getting this. And I'll bring you in here in a second. We can take a look at all those impurities. But I got to get the bug guts off of this. Normally I say you don't want to use an alcohol-based product on the paint, but it's actually okay when you're polishing and cutting, and you know, if you want to pull, if there's wax on there and you want to pull the wax off to really get back down to the clear again, Sprayway glass cleaner works really good because it's super high alcohol content and no ammonia. So even when you're painting, I'll use Sprayway and get rid of all the oils that might be on the body or whatever you're painting. In fact, just yesterday I tried to do a video but got kind of frustrated. I had some battery problems, but I just cleared the mirrors yesterday, and I just used Sprayway to clean it all off. Gets the grease and the oils and all the crap off. All right, so this thing is pretty well cleaned here. Now I'll bring in, you can take a look at this. I don't know if even you'll be able to see that or not. Let's see what we can do here. So basically you can see them there. All these little tiny scratches. There's a bunch of, you see that orange peel? It looks kind of like uneven. Looks like the peel of an orange, right? Now we get over here, and again, it's not perfect. Like right there, you'll see a little bit of imperfection, right around there. But you know, that orange peel effect is minimal compared to when you get into this. That's bad. And then of course over here, this scratching that you see, that's from me wet sanding it. Now you could I could wet sand this a whole lot more and actually get all that out, but I'm not going for a Riddler award here. It's not a SEMA truck, it's a street truck. I'll get a bunch of that out just by cutting it actually. And all these scratches are intentional. They will also all come out. You can see it's not a good paint job at all. The whole truck looked like that actually. And you can see I've already cut this. This has been, like I say, about 2.5 years since I cut this paint, and it's good. The rest of the truck is, I mean, it's not good. But it's passable, right? So the last piece I have is from here over and all the way down to the front. So we'll knock all that out right now. Get this back together. I got an external battery here so we don't run out of juice. All right, let's make sure we still got audio. Oh, we do. So the next step, like I mentioned, is clay. I'm not really picky about the clay that I use. Uh-oh. Is that the TV that's frozen or did the phone freeze? We're still live. So anyway, I'm not very picky at all about the clay that I use. This here is just some Meguiar's clay. I've got a whole box here, 3 clay bars. That's a big box for just 3 clay bars. But anyway, that's Mother's. It was on sale. So you just need a clay that will take out the impurities, and this will do it. I have been hitting the dually a little bit here and there. The other nice thing about the clay is you can see here we've got a ton of crap in the clay. That's all from the dually. But if we just stretch this, and it's nice that it's warm right now because it can work with the clay. But if we stretch this all out, fold it into itself, give yourself a nice surface to work. Look, and that's nice and clean. So one trick about clay is to make sure you keep it very, very lubricated. And what I'm using for lubrication is the same detail spray that I wipe the hood down with. So we'll just do that. What I should have shown you too, if I can find a plastic bag, I'll do it right now. Plastic, here's one. So if you want to feel how crappy your paint is, just looking at it, you can't tell how much junk is in the paint. But if you grab a plastic bag, I'll even do the section we just wiped that I've already cut, but it's still full of crap. You just put your hand in the bag and run it over the paint. Ugh, it's so gross. You can even do it with windows. You can polish glass, believe it or not. But the glass is the same way. It's just gross. Feels like you're touching sandpaper, actually. But as you clay, you can actually hear, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but you can hear all this crap coming out of the paint. See that? Gross. That's in the paint. You can't tell just by looking at it though. And I remember I washed this, we just wiped it off with detail spray, but there is still garbage all inside this paint. So you want to keep turning your clay bar. I like to focus on one panel at a time. So I'm focusing just in this section here, this mark in the hood, this body line in the hood. And we give it a good pass with the clay. And this hood's pretty bad because I left it exposed for so long. So I think I'll go over the whole thing, or at least this section, wipe it and do it again because this is really pulling some crap out. So let's wipe this. And I should have just grabbed a new rag because this one had a bunch of crap in it that I'm now putting back in the paint. So let's do this section again. Right now, if I grab this bag, even just claying like I did, way, way, way more smooth compared to that. That's just clay. I haven't even polished it yet. And we can tell by looking at it that there's scratches in there and imperfections in the paint. But the little pieces that get in there are really bad. And again, you can't see them. I mean, you can with a microscope, but this clay pulls them all out. Let's do it again. Just for fun. See if we get more crap out. I'm just gonna do exactly the same section we did. Not gonna fold over to the next one yet. It feels a lot better. Now, if you don't clay, you just go right to a cut, all you're doing is grinding all that stuff into the paint. It's never gonna look as good as it can. It'll look better, but you're not gonna get that crap out. It's just swirling it all around in the paint. It's not good, not gonna work. So There you can see much better now that I've clayed twice. So still a little bit of crap, but that's fine. Let me grab a clean towel. Got a whole box of them over here. I'll just grab the whole box. So we're gonna go through some towels right now. Here we go. Put this box here. Grab this. Hey, it's Bill Harvey. He's at his house on the other side of town. He's getting his 400 Yamaha going. It's running good. He's cutting his grass. Bill, you're the only one watching right now, bud. That's okay. It says 3 people, but 2 of those are me here in the shop. That's fine. Like I say, when this video is actually done live, it will make a little file. And I don't have to edit anything. That's my biggest problem, editing. I don't have time for the editing. So that's pretty good. It's not going to get any better than that. I'm just feeling a lot of these little spikes and garbage in the bodywork, which we know is there and bad. And I'm not stripping this hood. Like, there's rust all along this edge. I don't care. Bill and I were talking yesterday about maybe painting this truck after LS Fest. For those who don't know, we are going to LS Fest East. Going to take this truck on the back of the dually. At least that's the plan as of right now. And the dually will match this truck. So I don't want to go to LS Fest. I don't have time anyway to paint this before September. And that's the kind of thing that you can't take an hour a day and paint. Once you start painting, you got to finish painting. Ugh. Funky. By the way, I don't even like this hood, to be honest with you. I'm not a big cow hood guy, especially the Trans Am kind of looking WS6 cow hood with the nostrils. They don't really have nostrils on this one because they actually have openings in the nostrils. That's why they call them nostrils, but it's got a split between the middle. I'm not a big fan, but it was on the truck. It's already white. No sense going through it again. I did not clean the front of that. There's not much that gives you good satisfaction than cutting and polishing a car. It's obvious how bad it is now, but when you cut it and polish it, man, does it look good. All right, I might clay this one more time. And I mentioned, we'll do this hour a day thing, but might be 2 hours one night. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff going on at work right now, so this week in particular. So I might not get out here even 3 days. I hope to, grab dinner, shoot out shop for an hour, knock a couple small things out, or one small thing out, go to bed. I enjoy watching TV also. Spend a bunch of time watching YouTube, and the only time I can do that is at night. So we got to balance everything out. All right, I think this is going to be pretty good now. And if you guys have seen the other videos on the channel, you'll see the same stuff happening on the Corvette. That took, last time I detailed that Corvette, I think it took me every bit of 10, maybe even 12 hours. And I kind of did it over 2 days and regretted it immediately after. That's a lot of work. So if we just do this a bit at a time, it's a lot better, a lot easier. Yep, that's good right there. All right, so we'll use this again later. Next step is to get rid of these rags. Oh, that's the other thing. When you wipe it down, use one rag. Then you're done with that rag. Throw it in a box, wash it later. Grab another rag, clay it, wipe it down. You could do, you know, all the clay passes and then grab the same rag and then throw that in a box. The next step, we're gonna cut. We're gonna need a rag for that. Oh, I just dropped that one on the ground. It's really probably trash forever, but then after you cut, you got another rag and you wipe the cut compound off. Then you grab the polish and you polish, and then you grab another rag and you get the polish off. And then we go back and we wax. And another rag, a soft rag for waxing. So I typically, for cutting, will use this correcting polish from Adams. This stuff is awesome. Problem is, they don't make it anymore. There's a blue one, blue compound, but I don't think it's quite as good as this. I've probably had this for 10 years, and I really, really like it. I'm looking for the blue compound, but I don't see it anywhere. Then they have this finishing polish, which they do, I think, still make. This is the last step. There's even a glaze polish that I have, which you can do after that. But to start, because I don't have any more Adams cutting polish, you can do a couple different things. If you're just doing something that needs a little bit of cutting, but doesn't necessarily have a lot of huge imperfections, you can use this Meguiar's One Step. I actually use this on my boat. Oh, look, it's Marine and RV One Step compound. It works pretty well, but we got to go pretty heavy here, and there are better products to use. That's pretty cheap. You can get it at Harbor Freight. Here's another one. This is a Meguiar's as well. I hate this stuff, but I have used almost, actually this whole bottle is gone. I can't stand it. It just smears real bad. It doesn't apply very nicely. And one nice thing actually that Meguiar's does, if you look at their bottles, they'll tell you light cut with this red arrow all the way to the extra heavy cut. So this 105, the higher the number, sorry, the lower the number, the heavier the compound, right? So for example, that's a 105. This is a 67. This actually, maybe we should try this. Yeah, aggressive cleaner plus polisher. So we're actually going to try this. But then after you go to the 105, right? So you could start with the 67 here. That's the ultra aggressive stuff. Then you could go to a 105, which is a little bit less aggressive. Then we get into a 205, and you see that line starts dropping down. And so the 205 just, you know, it's like sandpaper. So that's like the grit. So now we're at level 4, and then after that, they don't have that same marking on this, but we've got this mirror glaze, show car glaze. That's another thing you can use. Hey, Broken Patriot, how's it going? Then this is an ultra cut compound. This is another 105. I think it's the same stuff as this other garbage that I said I didn't really like. Yep, that's a 105 as well. So it's actually the same mirror glaze. The other thing I have just laying around, we're going to use the 67 today because I think it's going to be actually really nice for taking those swirls out. I've had this stuff for like 20 years, not a joke, maybe 15. Shining Monkey, I don't know, it came for free, some car show. For dull or faded paint, no idea. We might try it just for fun. I have had it and have never used it. But Adams, please bring back your orange cutting compound, correcting polish. That's good stuff. The blue stuff wasn't near as nice. Let me grab a extension cord and we'll plug in the polisher. If I can find, here it is. Oh, it's getting nice and cool out, just rained. All right, let's plug in the polisher and get to cutting. Extension cord. You want to loop your plugs so you trip over them and unplug them. There you go. Now it's one cord. All right, get this out of our feet. So we've chosen our compound. We're going to go with that 67. Sure. The next thing we want to think about is our pad. I just use these Bauer Harbor Freight pads. They work. Shining Monkey, epic name, yeah. The foam cutting pad, the blue one, they just changed all these compounds too at Harbor Freight. That's annoying. For heavy surface defects and swirls, this one, the green one, is for moderate. So we're going to go a stage at a time. So I'll cut with the blue one first. It's just like a grittier feeling, and that just Velcros onto my also Harbor Freight random orbiting polisher. And by random, I mean the head rotates and then it also spins. So it's really, really hard. As long as you keep this lubricated with your compound, it's really, really hard to burn into the paint. There we go. I haven't used this in a while, so we'll give it a good shake. I also have these smaller pads from Adams, and I've got a dual head polisher, and this is the one I started with when I first started learning how to polish. I had this dual head. Both are random orbital. I think they turn in opposite directions. Works really, really well. I just got away from it because I wanted a bigger area to polish with at once. I wanted to move a little faster once I got comfortable with it. You can burn the paint, but you can also fix it, so easy enough. So you're gonna need your compound. This pad is not clean, but it's fine. I've only used it once since I washed it. And your detail spray again. The detail spray again keeps you lubricated as you polish. It's a little much, but it'll work. And then we give a few sprays of that. Now, start on the inside, work your way out. If you start on the outside and go in, you're liable to scratch what you just went over. So start on the inside, come out. If you scratch something here, you'll fix it as you go. So this is step one. Put the cord over your shoulder. This is step one of several. Like I say, we'll go from the 67, because I wet sanded this hood, to the 105. I'm just dabbing this all into the paint. And again, just like when we were claying and I moved panel by panel, I'm only gonna take half of this inside panel, then we'll do this half, then this half, and then this half, and then we'll swap the pads to the green one, which is a little finer, and we'll throw the 105 on it, or maybe the, I don't know, monkey stuff, and then end up with the fine polishing compound and a very, very fine foam pad, or even the wool pad. I always start the polisher on the slowest speed, and then you can turn it up as you need to. Take your time. Don't hold the polisher on one spot for any length of time. You want to keep that constant motion. I'll do an opposite crosshatch. So I'll start moving this way on the panel, and then I'll go this way on the panel, and then I'll cut on the diagonal on the panel, and then I'll cut the other diagonal on the panel. And then I'll go one more back and forth. And that really just keeps things consistent. Make sure you're getting every angle and give you as best a shine as you can get. If you start seeing hazing, or like it feels dry, or if you touch the surface and it's warm or hot, stop. You can add more compound, but usually you just need to add, I put too much on there already, so I'll be fine probably for this whole panel. I might add a couple drops, but you can add your detail spray and it'll bring that stuff back to life. So we'll start slow. I will not probably ramp this all the way up to 6, which is the highest. I'll probably get up to 3 or 4 because that's enough. You want just a little bit of down pressure. You don't want to get into it real hard because again, it can burn right through this paint. This is very, 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 very thin paint. Horrible paint job by a previous owner. Or like I said, his uncle. So let's get started before this all dries up. I also have a trigger on here, which will hold the trigger in, which is nice, a little button. You don't have to hold it. So just concentrate on the polish. I'm gonna go real slow. I'm still on minimum. And we overlap. I really could get, I could get this whole section, this half of this panel, in 3 passes because this is a pretty big, it's a 7-inch pad, and it's not a big section. But if you go much more than that, it starts to dry. Yeah, we're good. You don't want anything dried up. So I'm just going to add a little more of my detail spray. And you see when I do that, that polish comes right back out again. It's a little orange because the last time I used it was on that correcting polish from Adams. I was shining on the dually just to see how one of the doors would come up. And it came up great, by the way. So anyway, I'll get back into this again, turn it up to 3, and do the same thing again. We'll go 4. Same deal. Take your time. Just keep moving. You know, this is the problem I have. I do not like this Meguiar stuff very much. I'm a little spoiled by the Adams polish. This stuff seems, I don't know, it's like a little pasty. This thing's still pretty wet, but that Adams stuff just has such a nice consistency. There we go. The other thing is if you take your time with the wheel speed, it doesn't fling everywhere, which is good too. All right, this is the rag that I got to wipe the cut polish off. It's already starting to look better. Yeah, I can see a big difference between what I didn't cut and what I did, especially out here where it's all still wet sanded. I still have a bunch of wet sand marks where I did cut, but as I get finer and finer, that'll get better. And I do believe that this is going to take some heavy work to get into that because of the wet sanding and because the paint's just such garbage. Let's see, Broken Patriot. He needs to clay his car. Yes, everybody should. I never deep cleaned the paint since new. I can feel the junk in the paint. Yeah, I'll bet you can. It's pretty bad, right? Harbor Freight, man. Don't be afraid to do it. Like I say, I'm not a big fan of the Meguiar stuff, but if you take your time and keep it wet, it does a pretty decent job. Let's try, just for fun, this Shining Monkey. This stuff is older than dirt. I think it's actually, oh yeah, it's got a, I need to pull that little piece of paper out. I broke this bottle earlier when I was trying to shake it. I put it in the paint shaker like a dummy. There we go. No idea how this stuff's going to come out. I should probably test it here. Oh, it's milky. Let's test it on this. Oh, yeah. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I think it's settled so bad in the bottom. I think that stuff's just trash. That's okay. Let's just continue on then with the 67. Yeah, it's supposed to be thick like that. That stuff was like water, so we'll skip it. Don't forget to turn your speed down. I'm going to go back over this all again. Speed down, otherwise you get polish, cutting compound all over the place. Because this is not cutting like I want it to, I'm actually going to crank this thing up. Alright, I'm just making a mess, so we need to cover some things up. Like a big mess. You don't want to get this on rubber or black paint where you're not going to take it off quickly, because it does make a mess, a big mess. So I got something for that over here. Hey, look at that, fancy. Ooh. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm trying to show you guys how to do stuff pretty cheap. Try to get a whole cut and polish done on any car at a reputable detailer. It's going to cost you some cash. Do it yourself, enjoyable, and affordable. And this one's going to be more than an hour here, but that's fine. It's the weekend. Whew, she's screaming. Not hot, barely warm. And like I said, when you turn that thing up, you make a mess. Nothing you can do about it, really. Except covering stuff up you don't want to get messy. Look at me. That'll probably never come out, even in the wash. This stuff's nasty. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. This section here is the worst part, but I can already see it coming to life pretty well. Let's move to the front. Man, I wish I had better compound. Even the blue compound from Adams, I wouldn't mind having right now, but I think I ate through all of it. It's not here, is it? Nope. I must have gone through the rest of that on the Corvette. That's right. This thing is pretty wet. Turn that back down. You always start low. You don't want to shock it at high speed right away. All right, diagonal. And the opposite diagonal. And we go vertical again. And horizontal. And we'll turn it up to 3. And we'll go to 4. Do it all again. Overlap each pass with the last one. And be careful of your edges. They'll burn after the paint's thin. Diagonal. Diagonal. Vertical. Horizontal. Not warm, definitely not hot. And we don't need to grab a new rag here because we're still getting rid of the cutting compound. And that's good. There was some like brown stain in the paint there. I should go up here and grab that because it's up there too, but I took it all out. I still see a fair amount of orange peel, but it's kind of just like the rest of it on the side that's already been cut, polished, and waxed. All right, so I did not do the front at all because I want to actually pick the hood up a little. We'll block it and then go across the whole thing. Otherwise, you'll hit the black ledge here and the stainless strip on the front. And like I said, that makes for not fun. So let's move to the outside now. And then after this piece here, we'll have to go up on this little ledge too as part of that. I was going up onto the cowl a little. And so we'll do all that and then we'll hit it with I don't know, Meguiar stuff, I guess. I should really tape this. I'm a little concerned if I do tape it. When I take the tape off, the paint will come off. That's how bad this paint is. So I'm just going to be careful on the fender itself. Try to avoid it as much as I can. And this is such a small piece, we could do the whole thing, because I really could get this almost all in one horizontal pass. Go to 3, 4. Overlap and go back. Back here is where it's real bad. No sense in even going diagonal on that tiny little section. It wouldn't accomplish anything. All right, we're getting some scratches out from that wet sand. The next one will really be the ticket for that though. That spray bottle has like a at the end. I don't know why. All right, that was a good cut. It's already looking better. This is the last time we'll use this towel for this work. We'll grab another one right now for the next cut. And we need to change our pad. So we'll pull the blue pad off, which needs to be washed. We'll put it with those rags. I actually just bought a bunch of new ones. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that one. So the next one is the green one. And I know that because if you look here, blue is coarse foam, medium foam is green, then yellow, and then white for polish. With a new foam pad, you want to use a slightly less gritty, finer cutting compound as well. Almost a polishing compound. So we definitely don't want to use, we could go 105. Actually, I do have enough 105 here in this ultra cut compound, extra heavy cut. But we went extra heavy cut with this marine stuff, which was 67. Kind of wild. I don't know. Again, like most of these scratches that I have in here would be gone if I had the right Adams compound. Let's see what happens with this now. So we'll go with the 105 next. You can do it by hand or with the polisher. We're obviously using a polisher. And if we grab our bag again, it's like glass now. Super smooth. Really good. So I can still see the imperfections, but it feels so much nicer. Drop the green pad on. I'm sure that that's all clogged, so we'll just have to pour some on. Pour some polish on me. Don't go too crazy now. All right. That's a lot. But this is a very dry pad. Yep. Oh look, more orange. It's from that cutting compound. Man, I love that stuff. I wish they'd bring it back. I should call them on Monday actually and be like, hey, if you're not bringing it back, what are you replacing it with? Anything that they've replaced anything with, including their detail spray, by the way. I don't know if it's like EPA or some crap that they're having to be more strict about. I'm pretty sure they're a California company. I don't know. Every time they reformulate something, it's worse than it was the first time. So we're just going to do the same thing again. Slow, low speed, overlapping. And you can see this stuff is like a lot thinner. So it actually sticks around on the surface a lot longer. Oops. I'm going to go up on the edge of the hood, or the cowl rather. See if I can get that brown stain out. Go up in speed. Pull to the cut. I'm at number 4 now on the polisher. And I can still see the material being pushed around, so it's not dry. But we are gonna spray a little of this. Bring the speed down, let that absorb a little. And that really keeps the lubricity in the material. So whatever dried because of a little bit of heat that we had, sort of reactivates. That's good. Not warm. So that was the 105. We got a new rag here already. Let's just see how it looks. Oh, that stupid thing keeps spraying after you stop squeezing the trigger. All right, we're getting there. Some of the scratches, by the way, that are in this bodywork are, again, because whoever painted it took a giant shortcut and did not step down in sandpaper as they were doing the body work. So they, like, you know, hit it with 400. See, there's all kinds of crap in them. We get another one, but they would hit it with like a 400 on a orbital sander and call it good enough, and then spray primer and paint. I don't even know if they sprayed primer, to be honest with you. Either way, don't do what they did when you're painting a car. If you want to start with 400, that's fine. Even 600, I don't care. But you need to go down, or up, rather. A little bit at least. No amount of high build primer is going to fill what they did to this poor truck. We're going to put a little more of this on, and we're going to keep tackling that same spot that I just did, because I'm pretty sure I could get some more crap out of that. Some more scratches. It's real light, but wow, huge improvement already. Let me do this pass and I'll bring you guys in here and you can see the progress we're making. So this, let's see, wash, clay, first cut, second cut. We're at 4 steps now. Turn this down to 1 again. I am going to put a little more down pressure on this time. I want this thing to really work some of these fine scratches that are in here. Turn this up to 4 again. I'm also going to slow down over this and let the machine do some work. You'll notice while I'm not stopping anywhere, I just slowed down. I'm still going at a 4. I could even go faster if I wanted. We will. So the machine's going faster, but I'm going the same slow speed. We're going to give that a little bit more detail spray to keep it lubricated. And look, when I go back, you can see what was starting to look just a little bit dry is now totally back, revived again just from that detail spray. And then of course, keep checking that for heat as you're going. That bottle's annoying. Oh man, that's huge, huge, huge improvement. It got up underneath of there. Just get it off your weather stripping. If you got it on there, get it off as soon as you can, because once it's on there, it's on there. You'll be seeing it for a long time. We're gonna have to spray this whole hood now because I just shot that compound all over the place. All right, let's just do this. Grab another rag because I'm wiping it on there now. This thing's junk. Oh. You're failing me. Make sure to turn your rag frequently. As you wipe it. All right, so I know the title of this is an hour a day, get your projects done. We are at 63 minutes now for this video. I could stop here if I wanted, but I'm not going to. We got this whole section here really, really good. There are still some scratches and imperfections, but I haven't gone to the last step yet. So if I was out of time for the day, I would just quit here and move on, but I don't need to. Gonna keep going and just wrap this thing up. Maybe another hour and maybe a half hour, I don't know, but we're close. So I do have to be super careful this edge. We talked about that. I've got rust over here. You know, if you really wanted to, I could take this off and then paint it black like I did on the front, at least just cover it with something. But street truck, it's not the only imperfection on the truck. That is for dang sure of it. So I'm gonna jump back on with more of this 105 and hit the outside section. And you can see this pad is actually fairly clean. The higher speed will keep that thing pretty clean. Unfortunately, that also means that it's flinging it all over the place. But outside the higher speed, you need to use that detail spray because it will help keep the pad from binding up, getting clogged up. And my detail spray is all the way over there. You saw me stop and put detail spray on it over the on this section and then go again. Can never use too much detail spray, at least in my opinion. We're getting less orange out of it now, so that means it actually is cleaning very nicely. All right, all the way down. Let's just work it in a little bit. And you'll get a feel for how much downforce you need to use based on how well, like you can't just sit here and, you know, do this because it's not going to cut, especially with that compound I'm using. So I'm going to put some force on this. And take my time. We'll give it a little bit of spray. It's very cool still though. We'll go again. Turn it down. Go up to 3. Go to 5. 6. That's all the way up. Be careful of your edges. We might be where we're gonna be. This thing's pissing me off here. Wipe the whole thing down again, and that pad's starting to come apart too. So I'm getting some of that green material just breaking off the pad and spreading around. Yeah, they wear out, and I wash them too from time to time. Not every time I use them, obviously, but when you wash them, they sort of start to break down too. I wash them in hot water. Probably not the best, but it does make sure to melt and clean out whatever garbage is in there. Now remember, that was still a cut compound that I was using. It's not a polish. The next one we're going to move to is that polish. There's some garbage in this paint, but it's fine. It is what it is. Bring you guys in, you can have a peek. Maybe. So, look at that improvement. Yes, there is still crap in this paint. No, there's nothing I can do about it. It was a bad paint job. But look, we go from here, which was already done, down into this. Compared to what that was, massive, massive, massive improvement. And remember, we haven't even polished this yet. This is just cutting. There's some orange peel there, which really cleans itself up. So I could spend more time down here if I wanted, but I don't. You know, remember, this up here looks as good as it does because I wet sanded that. Okay? That is pretty dang on good. Okay, so yep, there is peel in there. And I could eliminate all that orange peel by wet sanding all the way from 1,000 to 3,000. But I'm not doing it. This here is just polishing compound. I can hit that with this rag and it'll go away. See that? So that's pretty good. We're gonna move on to polish now. And then I'll hit this front last. Front's actually pretty good. I believe when I did that side of the hood and I did the front, I came all the way over because this feels and looks really, really good already. But it's been a couple of years and I can't remember. So, all right, we're almost there. Almost there. I've been meaning to do this for, well, I was going to do it before sick week, but you guys followed along with that. That was a mess. We didn't have enough time to do the stuff we wanted to do. I still got air conditioning to put in this truck. I wasn't going to do that in an hour, that's for sure. All right, next, polish. Now, finally, on to an Adams product. This is just telling me I need to call Adams on Monday and find out what their latest cutting compounds are and how it compares to the orange compound and order some. And before I do anything with this, I'm going to pop the hood actually. I see a bunch of cutting compound on the edge, and I don't want to pick that up with the polishing compound because remember that cutting compound is significantly more coarse, obviously, than the polishing compound. So we'll get all that out of this so our pad doesn't get down in here and pick any of it up and drag it across as I'm trying to polish with the fine stuff. We don't want to mix the fine stuff in. That's like, you know, starting with a 400 or a 600 grit sandpaper and then working your way all the way to 1,000 and then going back to 400 again. That's stupid. Why would you do that? You wouldn't. So why would we do it with polishing compound? We shouldn't, and we're not going to. So just go through and make sure you got all your edges cleaned off. It's just like waxing, you know, it gets in there. Get it off the cowl here. Who's Cal? Just kidding. There's a little bit there. All right. We're good now. Let's put the hood back down. Doopy. Okay. Next. For fun. Let's have a feel of this. Oh, what? Heck yeah. I'll do one better actually. I don't know how well this will come across, but let me take this microphone. Can you hear this? It's like, right? Now, can you hear this? No. You hear the bag, but you don't hear it dragging across the paint. That's how you know. Let me see if I can hear it. Hear the bag, but you don't hear it dragging across. Yeah. Pretty awesome. That shows that it's working. We got all the crap out. Anything that's deeper is just deeper, and that's all you're gonna have. So for this one, I think I'm actually gonna go over to my other polisher. This is Adam sold this, but it's a Rupees, whatever you want to call it. 5 Pro Mark II, made in the USA by a company called Tyclo Tool Makers. One thing that's a little more difficult is getting these little pads aligned. That's pretty good. So this has obviously 2 heads. I think there's maybe an adapter for a single head on this, but this is really nice because it's pretty low speed. It's nice heavy duty. This is actually a very nice polisher. Again, my problem was I wanted something that would give me more surface room to work with. This thing's just covered in dust. Let's get all that off before we start polishing and driving it back into the paint that we just cut. But anyway, I probably actually went backwards by picking up a Harbor Freight polisher. Adams is watching going, he's an idiot, complaining about our compound. He's using that piece of crap polisher. You're probably right. But it works. Now I'll probably get back to this thing and be like, why did I ever change? Let's find out. Plug them in, make sure it still works. Oh yeah. Okay. These are very clean. These are the white ones. Adams has these terry cloth ones too. These are really nice. I don't know why I got away from any of this stuff. I think I probably just need to start going back and stop buying this garbage at Harbor Freight and do it the right way. I've done some black paint, which is real hard to do with this polisher, and man, does it do amazing things. So let's recap our steps one more time. We washed. Step 1. Step 2 was the clay. Step 3 was heavy cut. Step 4, medium cut. This is step 5 now, right? Yeah, this is step 5. And we're going to use this finishing polish, which is what it says it is, for finishing and polishing. Then I kind of usually actually skip this step, but they have this stuff called Brilliant Glaze. Again, I don't know if they still have it or not. Some guys will use this as a detail spray. It just gives that deep look, and on this paint I'm not that worried about it. I used to use that all the time. I had an Inferno Orange Camaro with like gold and silver and flake in it. It was beautiful paint. In fact, that's the color paint that I got. If we end up painting this truck, that's what it'll be. I got a bunch of it over there because I was going to paint the Caprice, but we got rid of it. So anyway, let's make sure they've been in the drawer. and in a bag. It's probably too much, but that's fine too. Always close your bottles when you put them down, because even when you say, oh, I'm going to pick that back up and need it again, I'll just leave it open. Something will happen and you'll get pulled from what you're doing. Then you got a bottle open and it just hardens and then it's not good anymore. Again, all the way down in speed. Little green specks still on here from that other pad, that's fine. We just work this into the surface. I haven't used this thing in years. I miss this polisher. Look, see how slow this one will go? Real slow. We don't need it that slow. It is almost impossible to burn the paint with this polisher. Almost. I wonder if you're supposed to oil that. We'll just go up in speed. This is as fast as this one goes. That's another reason I moved to the other one. The RPMs are a lot higher. We'll just go all the way down. This is holding up pretty good. Going there diagonal. And the opposite diagonal. And I am putting pressure on this one because it's not spinning very fast. I guess I'm not patient enough, and that's why I moved away from this. It served me well for a long time. But since the machine's not moving quick at all, you gotta take your time even more in your body movements and your arm movements, because, well, you need to let the machine work. I think I can just move on to this now too. These aren't warm at all, but I'll add a little more anyway, just for good measure. Don't need a whole lot. Close it up, wipe that off, do it again. Let's put a little of this on. Let's turn it all the way back down. These pads are super nice too. It also really gives me a lot more precision. I'm not hitting stuff that I don't want to hit on edges. Like here, I'm not getting into the fender. So this is as fast as this one will go. All right, let's see how that turned out. Need another rag. we're on to the next step now, and I prefer to use, as I get deeper and deeper into the polishing levels, I like to use, I've got Adams rags. Here's one. These are really, really good rags too. You do get what you pay for. Kind of got away from that a little bit, I guess, but you don't need to go crazy, you just need to be patient. And I need to fill this bottle back up. All right. Still scratches, but they're in there. All my wet sanding stuff is gone. Maybe we'll do some Brilliant Glaze just for the sake of doing some Brilliant Glaze, since I have it. I have to see what I have for pads. Those are the red pads from Adams. Okay, pretty happy with that. Yep. If I can, all my Adams pads are in here. Let's see what I have. Gen 5 pad system, paint finishing pads. These are the original pads that I bought from Adams. Oh, there's the funnel I was looking for to refill my bottles. This is what you're supposed to use to apply the Brilliant Glaze. That one's trash, but we're gonna go, I think, with sealant and waxing. Here we go. We'll just go right to the wax. These are brand new. All right, let's pull these guys off of here. They're clean. We'll put them back in this and apply these onto here. Okay, and if you've installed these correctly, when they're closest together, they just barely touch, and then when they move apart, you have this gap. Well, this, like I say, this is a dual action, so it will move like an egg shape, oblong, and then spin at the same time. So you really never miss a section in the middle of the two pads, which is pretty cool. I never actually have used that to apply wax, and I don't think I'm going to start right now. Instead, let's just move to this Brilliant Glaze, and I'll spray it on, I believe. Shake bottle. Pour a small amount onto a clean hex grip applicator. Apply a thin, even layer to paint. Allow a few moments to and buff away. All right, we're just gonna put it right on here. Need to open it up. Turn this nozzle the other way. There we go. Ugh, smells like coconut. Gross. I forgot about that. Now for this, I am just going to go slow. This is almost a wax. In fact, there's probably some wax material in it. And I did hit the side of this cow. But this is not meant to really be ground into the paint. It's not a polish, it's a sealant. So we don't need to go fast at all, and we're going to put this stuff on. I'm going to go on the fender too with it, since I did kiss it a little bit a couple times. We'll go on the cowl, on the edge, and then we'll just go a couple clicks up. And work it in. Look, even if you look at paint in microscope, in a microscope, you'll still see those imperfections and impurities. You never get them all out. And there's craters, and like if you could look across this surface with a microscope, you'd see microscopic low and high spots across the paint. So you definitely want to work your sealant and your wax into those spots and make sure that you're really applying it, so it's not just sitting on top of the paint and missing any of those low spots and only getting the high spots. This gnat is annoying. Ugh, this stuff stinks like coconut. My least favorite thing on the planet. New rag. Here's, I think this is an Adams rag too, actually. I think this is Bill's. All right, we're gonna let that haze for a second. Right now we're at 90 minutes, so we're half hour past that hour. Like I said, I thought maybe it would take me another half hour or so to get through. The next step is super easy. So that's the Brilliant Glaze, just like a wax. We applied it. I applied it with that machine, and then it hazed for a second, and then we just go and wipe it off like you would a wax. All right. A good wet sand would have done. Well, finishing the wet sanding would have been pretty awesome for this hood, but nah. If the Corvette or the CTS was this way, I'd have done it. I can't do much, hardly anything on that blue truck. That clear coat is so brittle and thin. It just gets angry. All right. Review the steps. First, wash. Second, clay. Third, cut number 1. 4, medium cut. 5, Brilliant Glaze. We are done with the detail spray now. And the final step is, I'm not cheaping out on this. This is the only wax that I use except on my RV and the horse trailer. By the way, I do have Adams clay bar. And this is what we're going to talk about now. But on those other, like the RV or the horse trailer, I use one of 2 products. No, I guess. Yep. I've got this Formula One. Goes on easy, fast, and wipes off easy. Yeah, this stuff was cheap. It's fine. Lasts about a year. And then I also sometimes will use this Gold Class Carnauba Plus. Actually, this is a really good wax. So I've got a couple cans of that. But what I love, and this is old. This is from 2009, this can. This is what they call Patriot Wax from Adams. Oh, it smells so good. This is their original formula. Remember I just said every time they change formulas, it seems to get worse. I won't say this got worse, but it certainly is a different formula. So I bought more of it because I thought I might need it. Turns out I really actually didn't. But I bought more anyway, fairly recently. Actually, right before when I was doing the Corvette, which is when I ended up using almost all this material. I bought this, and I actually didn't even use it there, but I did use this on the dually recently. So the aluminum can here or the metal can. That's the original wax. It's white. This stuff is like butter, and actually they have something that they call buttery wax, but I mean this stuff is, woo, this is where it's at right here. I think this at the time was like $100 for this can. It's worth every bit of that. I don't drive these cars very often. They're never outside in the weather. This is the new one. Huh. Old, new formula. Don't smell anything alike. This one smells like, I don't even know. What is, you know, it reminds me of something when I was a kid. What is the name of that place? It's a Christmas tree place. Oh man, that smells just like it. And I believe it's in Warminster, PA. No, it's not in Warminster. It begins with an F. Somebody out there must know. Who's watching this right now? It's only me. I think no one's watching. Is it? Is it? What is it called? I don't remember. I haven't been there in years and years. Anyway, somewhere in Pennsylvania, I don't even remember where it is, there's this Christmas place. It smells just like that. It's really good. Anyway, this smells equally as good, but much different. I don't know what to make of really either one of them. Do they say what it smells like? Because I can't really place the smell. No. Anyway, they're both called Patriot Wax. One came in this plastic container. The other original one came in a metal container. And I had this, just a pad that was in it, which I'm sure is around, and I'll find it and I'll use it. But they're not the same. So, I don't know. Progress, I guess. They claim it's better. I guess I'm just stubborn and used to what I'm used to. I don't know. Anyway, I don't see an applicator that I used to have. Oh, here it is. The original one. Still has wax in it. So, we just go around and load up this pad. Man, this is good stuff. And we'll just apply it lightly the whole way down. Go over all the spots that we hit with the polisher when we were cutting and polishing. Do the front. Carefully, not touching black trim or rubber or plastic with wax, because that's not fun or easy to get off. You want to be super heavy with it. Don't be afraid to use a lot. And the way you can tell good wax, I mean, it goes on so nicely, but after it's on, we're going to let this flash and haze. And the way you can tell it was a good wax is because after you wipe it off, about an hour later you can come back and it looks like you didn't wipe it off. Because it's still coming out of the paint, out of the surface, even though it looks like you wiped it off once. Make sure you didn't miss any spots. We're good. Now I'm going to put this thing right back in here again. I don't know why I didn't before. Snap the lid on. I have another type of rag that I use for this now. Yeah, I'm a little crazy. Grab two of them. These are very, very, very soft rags. I don't even know where I got them, but they're like super, super soft. They're not actually very absorbent, which is what I want, because I'm not taking liquid off of this. I'm taking wax off, paste. Actually, we can go ahead and remove the sheet now while that's hazing. By the way, John Force had a bad wreck today. Bad. I think it was today. Like real bad. I'd say it's the worst in his career. I can't tell you I've seen a wreck like that. Anywho's, he did, I believe, get medevaced out. And I saw a video of him sort of fist bumping and high-fiving he sat up on the stretcher, so that's good. And he, was thanking the Safety Safari, so hopefully he's going to make a full recovery if he needs to even recover. But he's an old guy, drag racing still. It's pretty awesome. It's so humid here right now that this is just kind of going to take some time to haze. We got 63% humidity in the shop right now. It's not terrible, but it's also not Arizona. So, whilst that is hazing, let's talk about beer. Victory Sour Monkey. This beer, there it goes. This is from Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Yep. I don't know if they actually made this one in Downingtown. This could have been in Parksburg, where I used to live. We used to frequent the Victory Brew Pub right before COVID. We went there a lot. The one in Parksburg. I've been a couple times to the one in Downingtown. But this is a triple. It's a sour. And it's good. That there is a 9.5%. Victory sometimes has made. They stopped making and then started again for a period of time. Homegrown. If you haven't had homegrown, you haven't had beer. I'm sorry. I miss that, and I don't miss it because I'm not up there. I miss it because they don't make it anymore. Anyway, this is good. I can get this locally. I got this at Publix down here, right in town. Maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. They only had one. It was on clearance, 1 6-pack. Actually, I think it was a 24-pack or maybe 12-pack cans. I don't remember. That's gone, and we were over in Sarasota last weekend for Father's Day, and they had some at Target, of all places. So I picked up everything they had there, 12 of them, 12 bottles. I actually like that in a can. Oh, it's fine in a bottle, I guess. All right, let's get to wiping this off now. What time is it? It's 3:45. So where are we at? 103 minutes in. Some of that was spent me yapping. I mean, I've been yapping the whole time. Sorry. Hey, so a few of you watching now, we're a small channel, very small, and that's okay. I said at the beginning, I don't do this to make money. I do it because I enjoy it. combines my two passions on YouTube. Cars, that's my hobby. And especially right now, we're live. I make live TV for a living, believe it or not. And I've been in live TV, broadcast TV, since I was 8 years old, actually. Is when I really started taking interest in it. My uncle worked for the local NBC affiliate, WCAU, in Philadelphia. One of my favorite things as a kid was to jump in his news van at any time I could and just push buttons. So I guess I chased news with him a few times, and then when I was like 14, before that, but I had a police scanner when I was 14, and I'd hear about breaking news and I'd get there in any way I could. Sometimes my parents would drive me, and then I'd shoot the news, and this was before social media and cell phones and all that. And then my dad would drive me down to City Line Avenue, now called City Avenue, where WCIU used to be. WPVI, I believe, is still there. Anyway, he would drive me down there, and I'd sell him breaking news footage. That was fun. I still have some of that around. I remember the biggest thing I did was a mercury spill in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. There was a mercury spill behind the Thunderbird Bowling Alley on York Road. I shot that. Anyway, no one cares. I've been doing this for a long time, okay? I love live TV. Doing this YouTube channel lets me combine those two passions of mine, cars and broadcast television. I don't have a whole lot of followers here. What are we up to now? 253. That's one more than there was when we started this live broadcast. So please, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click it. It doesn't cost you anything. It does help my channel grow, helps me reach more people. I mentioned again in the beginning of this video, if I help one person, great. If nobody watches my videos, that's fine too. I'll go back and watch them later. It's a great way to document my projects. I have books and books of pictures from the Corvette and other things I've done. This is way better, moving pictures. The problem is I got to edit all this content. We fuel injection swapped the dually. It's done. I just haven't had time to go and edit it. I did the interior video a couple weeks ago or a week ago. Broke that into 2 sections. Now I just got to get that wrapped up. But going live here is actually going to be a really good thing. It does create those files at the end of being live and lets me go out. Race, rebuild, repeat. Hey, buddy. The weather, spectacular. I assume that's Nick. Nick, it's great to see you comment. I really appreciate that. If you're not followers of Race, Rebuild, Repeat, please go and follow that channel as well. Nick and Frank do some really cool stuff over there, and they are just top-notch guys. So anyway, not a lot of viewers. That's okay. It's like I said, we're growing. Hitting subscribe, commenting, all that stuff really means a lot. Let's see. Looks like awesome. Michigan's all over the place on weather. 95 yesterday, 70 today. Yeah, I heard it's real hot up there actually. So I'm at 87 right now in the shop, 63% humidity. By the way, Nick, check it out. We got some hats, buddy. There they are. We got hats. We got stickers. I don't know if those are going in focus. Yeah, there we go. Stickers and more stickers. These things cost money, you guys. So if you're interested, let me know. It's, again, I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because I love it. And I've met people like the Race, Rebuild, Repeat guys. I'm not Cletus here. I'm not whistling Diesel. Not even Race, Rebuild, Repeat. But that's not the point. The point is I love it, and I want to share that with you, and hopefully you love it as well. In any case, cool. Shoot me an email. If you want a hat, if you want some stickers, it's Horsepower Ranch Florida, all one word, at gmail.com. Horsepower Ranch Florida, gmail.com. Anyway, look at that. Look at that. That paint is beautiful. Let's bring you in there. You can have a quick look at it. Here we are. Whoa, huge improvement over what that was. You could not see any reflection there in the beginning, and now look at what we've done. That there, that's half a hood in about 90 minutes. Is it perfect? No, but the paint is not perfect, and I can't make paint perfect if it's not prepped correctly. Is it way better than it was? Absolutely. Absolutely. By the way, we mentioned, and you can see all that flung over here, but these I cleared. LMC, crappy mirrors from LMC. I also had to fix the paint here. LMC wing windows, junk. LMC's really falling behind. Anyway, hey, I really appreciate everybody hanging out with me today. That did coming and going. An hour a week, an hour a day. That's all you got to do. 3 days a week. You'll get a whole bunch of time in a month in a project. That's kind of how we got this thing churned out. I'm going to start doing that as much as I can. We'll go live 1 hour per night. After I'm done working, I work right up here. I'll come down. We'll spend an hour-ish in the shop, and we'll show you how much progress we can make. This week, we're going to work on the dually. I do have some AC work. I have to put a new condenser in that and recharge it. Maybe we'll do that one night. Maybe we'll save that for next weekend. The other thing I have to do on the dually is polish. What we're going to do this week is take a quarter, a door, all those things one piece at a time, and we'll do that. We'll do that in sections at an hour a time, and we'll show you by the end of the week that whole thing will be done, and we don't have to sit and sweat and have tired arms just by knocking the whole thing out. It's boring then. So let's mix it up. An hour a day. That's all you need to do to finish your project. People ask me all the time, how do you get this stuff done? How do you have time? You find the time. You got to find the time. This is my passion. This is what keeps me sane. Life gets for all of us, and that's fine, but you got to find time, whether it's this or something else that you do that you enjoy, that you love. Find the time. Do it. Find the time for yourself and take the time. It keeps you sane, keeps you aligned, keeps you, set your goals. It keeps you hitting those goals. Our goal right now, the next big goal we have is LS Fest East in September in Bowling Green. We're outside of Bowling Green, Kentucky. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff. Have a good rest of your weekend.